Good morning, everybody. It's been a few weeks. Aurora, hi, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while. Nancy, good to see you. Helen is here. Paul is here. Hey, Paul. Hope all is well. Ismael is here as well. I'm doing all right today. I took a little time away from the live streams. Haven't been feeling too great. Started teaching at the college, so I've been super busy. Hey, Ileana, you're doing really, really good in the critique gallery. Let me make sure my volume is low here. Okay, good, good. Sandy, welcome. Dennis, welcome. Would be nice if I put my mouth a little bit closer to the microphone. All right, so I figured I'd focus a little bit on what we've been doing in class as of late, my class at SVA, the School of Visual Arts. And yesterday's class was on form. Okay, form with gesture, because those students, they really are gesture based. Everything is fast, fast, fast stuff, not like the illustration department. Hey, Aura, how are you? Frankie J, nice to see you. Got the wheeling feeling today. Jermaine Rose, welcome. Melanie from Germany, and Jill is here. Thank you so much. Aurora Bloom, hi, Aurora. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get started. So it's a beautiful Saturday outside. Ruka is here, so we don't go too long. I'm going to do two gesture drawings for you. I'm going to start them both the same way in a very loosey-goosey sort of manner, and I'm going to show you my little warm-up process. And I've shown this many, many times before, but it's something that, Asteroid, welcome, it's something that I just do over and over and over again, and it helps. I keep staying loose with it. You know, this drawing thing is nothing that you can do once and then you've got it. It's this thing that you constantly have to do the same thing to kind of stay with it. All right, so let's get started, okay? And if I miss you, I apologize in terms of saying hello, but I know you all are pretty much here, and let me show you. So, okay, let's go. Let's get started. So what am I using today? I'm using newsprint paper. Okay, a really cheap Strathmore newsprint paper with this Derwent Ivory Derwent drawing, Ivory Black 6700. Just think about black crayon. We're not using the color erase. So the first thing that I like to do when I do this style of drawing is just to do stacked ovals. Okay, all right, now let me show you how big I'm working today. So I'm working a little bit bigger than normal. Usually when I work with the live streams, I do these tiny little drawings, and they're really small. So my live area today is about 13 inches, give or take. Okay, but my true live area here is about 13, 14 inches. And when I do these style drawings, I like to draw at least the figure 15 inches tall on an 18-inch tall pad. That gives me like a little buffer space in between in case I make a mistake. So the point that I'm trying to make is that I'm drawing with my arm, not just my fingers. This is drawing with your fingers, this is kind of drawing with your hand, and this is drawing with your arm. And you want to draw with your arm when you do this style of drawing. So when we draw the figure is made up of stacked ovals. Okay, so you just want to dance down and do these ovals. Okay, now what are the ovals? And I'm just scribbling. Scribbling is the name of the game with this style of drawing. Now I have a little drawing right over here. Okay, so nudity alert, nudity alert, nudity alert. It's a drawing, not a photo. This is different. This is a small little sketch that I just for practice. And this style of drawing is so different than this style of drawing. Okay, this is smaller. This is much smaller. How big is this? This is 6.5 inches tall. Okay, and now we've switched and we're working double that size, 12 inches tall. So when you work 12 inches tall, it's more beneficial to work that way when you are doing gestures. And that's what today's class is a little bit about as well. But today's class is about ovals versus cylinders. Now, so you dance down and you do those stacked ovals, and then those stacked ovals are really my opposite C's technique. So it's the letter C, okay, then the opposite letter C, then the letter C, and then the opposite letter C. Now, what are these letter C's? They're just one side of the oval, and it's this very, hey, Dawn, it's this very natural way to progressively dance down the figure. So it's back of the head, rib cage, hip, upper leg, lower leg, foot. So it's sometimes your opposite C's are very long, and sometimes your opposite C's are very small. This could be the inside of a knee. All right. Now, the other thing that I love to do is I just love to do the figure eights, scribbling like that. But let me not take up too much room on my pad. One moment while I resharpen this pencil. You know, I hate when they put the skews right where you sharpen, then the glue of the skew number gets stuck in the sharpener, and it makes for a really not pleasant sharpening experience. Okay, but I digress. So now let's slide this board over. And the drawing that I did in class, I'm just going to try to do that out of my imagination here today, just for fun. Like I said, I'm not going to go too long with this. So what I like to do first is, first what I'm doing is I'm looking at my monitor, okay? Because I want to make sure that the drawing is going to be within the monitor and I don't have to zoom in and zoom out. So a different way of me explaining that is you need to look at your pad. And when you put your pencil down on the paper, one of the first lines that you should take into consideration, one of the first places is, okay, where am I starting? You guys know I start at the same spot every time. I start at like the rib cage area. Thank you, Sky. So I start here at like the underarm rib cage area, and I'm like, okay, do I have enough room for the head? Yes. So I'm going to start right about here. So I'm just going to gesture down all the way to the top of the foot. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to draw a plus size model. Welcome, Sky. So come on down with your gesture. Okay, let's wrap around. And we're going to be a little bit more oval-centric. So this is a plus-size model. We're going to go a little bit bigger. And the first line I'm going to do here is just something like that. Okay, so now oval, opposite C for the leg. I'm just going to do these ovals. All right, and a little bit of an oval. Okay, over here, a little bit of an opposite C. Okay, let's dance down, get the bottoms. Curve around, let's get the center. Curve around the stomach, an oval for the pectoralis. Now press down a little bit harder and go over what you've already done. Okay, so this is a little bit up top over here with the head. And how do I want this arm? I want this arm to just gesture down. I want this arm to gesture out. Okay, and so now I'm trying to think, how did everything look? I'm trying to remember how all of this looked. Let me see okay. So I'm going to start over again. I'm going to go nice and slow, but I'm going to resharpen my pencil because this pencil sharpener dulls out very, very quickly. So a little rough. Let's refine it. Okay, so let's start again. And press down a little bit harder. So we're going to go around, form line, around the belly, up, convex line. I'm sticking with an area that I feel somewhat comfortable with. Pectoralis, okay, shoulder, deltoid area, bicep area is going to be an oval, forearm is going to go down into the hand. So deltoid, opposite C, forearm into an oval for the hand. Okay, let me get in the chin, and let's raise the head. Good. Boy, the sun just went out. It got really dark. And now this leg is bothering me. So I'm going to push it out. It's definitely not in the right spot. Let's go to the knee. Good. And now this is going to be another oval for that lower leg, ankle, target for the foot. Okay, so it's funny. I just drew this right before the live stream, and I like the drawing that I did before the live stream. That's usually how life goes. Okay. And I'll show you that one that I did right before the live stream as we progress. So I'm going to come on down here, ankle, wrap around. So the concept here with this particular model is ovals, okay? Ovals, ovals, ovals everywhere. And let me kick this foot out. So you have to make sure that one foot or both feet are underneath the center of the neck. Okay, so let's get in an oval for that big toe, oval for that kneecap. Now for this leg, it's going to be, let's see if I can't draw this leg a little bit cleaner. Oval for that lower leg and oval for that foot. So maybe he's just on his toes, okay? Maybe that foot is not really planted on the ground. So that's a very, very quick way to go about doing a gesture drawing, all right? Now, let me show you the one that I did earlier. So the one that I did earlier, I just sat down. It was 9:30. I like this one so much better. It's so much more natural. So yeah, it is what it is. And sometimes, you know, when you're drawing under the pressure of the camera, you screw up. But look at how much. So this is what I was talking about with my students. One of my students had asked me, he's like, Matt, you know, okay, I get what you're doing here with the ovals. I get that we need to see the figure in ovals, but there's so many messy lines. Like, so this is just an exercise. That is all that we're doing here today. It's just an exercise. So when you're doing an exercise, it's about messiness, okay? It's not, so this is a finished piece. This is a finished drawing. This is not about an exercise. This is about control. This is about finished quality. This is everything different. This is about your own personal style. This is everything different than this is. This is an exercise that we do in the classroom, and you can do this at home to loosen up. Because if you just do the type of drawing that I just showed you, that tight little coal erase drawing, you're going to get really stiff. And so this is the balance to the stiffness. Now, what I said to the student, his name is Alonzo. I said, Alonzo, you know, it's just an exercise, but ultimately what you want to do is you want to economize your line and draw with the least amount of lines possible. So let's compare. Okay, so let's compare my mess here this Saturday morning. So look, with this particular leg, I got pretty much one line. That was my initial line of action, that light line over here. And then I just came on down, really clean line. Look at this leg, really clean line. It looks very natural. Look at this belly, really clean line, looks really natural. Now let's look at the one that I did on the video. Look at all the lines. It's a mess. Okay, it's a huge mess. So let's try again. Okay, but actually I want to ruin this drawing for you, and I want to really just show you how you could, how many ovals there would be in this particular drawing. Okay, so there's definitely an oval over here, pectoralis on a plus size model, oval over here. The deltoid would have an oval. Okay, so that shoulder is going to be shrugged up a little bit more. This bicep would totally be an oval. Now, are you going to draw all these ovals all over your drawing? No, absolutely not. Can you and should you do this for practice, for an exercise, just for fun? Yes, absolutely. Okay, so maybe that bicep would be an oval. Maybe the forearm would be an oval. Okay, maybe perhaps the tip of the thumb could be an oval. Okay, like we said, this big belly is an oval. Perhaps this area is going to be pulled down by gravity. There's going to be an oval over there. And this forearm, the meat, the muscle area of the forearm would be an oval. And then that hand would be an oval. Okay, now again, when you do the ovals, what happens is your drawing gets really stiffened up. It looks like a practice drawing, and that's what we're doing here. Now let's push this a little bit more. So let's push that this leg on a plus size model would have two ovals. So it would be this part and then the knee part. And then this lower leg. And let's just do the heel, and the foot area would be an oval as well. Now this lower leg too would be an oval. and that foot could be an oval. So this is super duper beneficial. Hi, Anna, welcome. This is super duper beneficial, and Jeter Elmstone, welcome. Thank you for that. Yeah, the messy lines are so fun. So check this out. Let me resharpen. Actually, let me grab a different pencil that's already sharpened. So we did this in class, and you can do this in a very, very quick way. Boy, that is an ugly drawing. You got to have a lot of confidence when you do a live stream, because if you don't, you're going to be like, oh my God, I just crashed and burned. So oval, 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 angle of the foot. Let's go longer. Oval, oval, angle of the foot. Okay, center line for the spine, head, oval. Let's just give a target for that foot, angle of the shoulders. So just with those ovals, you can do a very quick figure. Okay, so let me get a new sheet of paper. Let's trash this one. Anon, as Azure. That's a cool name. Okay, so all my paper is going to fall down. I just got to be really careful here. Okay, so first crash and burn of the day. Let's throw that on the floor. Okay, good. Yesterday in class, it was the third week of college doing the Zoom classes, and I showed a couple of the best sketchbooks that I've ever filmed. One of them is Phoebe's, and another one is a girl named Rex. And I asked my students, I'm like, what did you think about those sketchbooks? And they're like, well, maybe I should just stop drawing right now. My drawings will never look like those two people's drawings. And I'm like, okay, if I showed you my sketchbooks from high school, you would die. Like, my sketchbooks from high school and college are just horrendous. And Rex and Phoebe, like, their sketchbooks, if I compared when I was their age. So you just have to accept that, you will get better soon. I will get better soon. We will all get better soon. We're just not there yet. Okay, so let's do another drawing. So that one was extremely cylindrical based. Now let's try one that's, oval based. Let's try one now that is cylindrical based. So let me resharpen. If I put my camera and pointed it down over here, I've got a pile of shavings from this pencil. And when they get on the floor, hey Brian, welcome. Robert, welcome. Yeah. When they get on the floor, they're so hard to get up. This thing is like pure wax. All right, so let's start again. So when we start again, we do, well, that would be nice if I got it on the camera. We do our scribble, ovals, ovals. Now let's throw in a cylinder, a curvy cylinder, just like that, with a convex line. You don't have to be a monster and press down hard. You can go very light. Convex line, oval, cylinder. Curve the cylinder like it's a piece of pasta. Okay. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, double zeros. So the body, I feel, we also did boxes and surface planes. I don't want to do that here this morning. I want to do something that's really organic. So organic just means no straight lines. So this would be a cylinder. Let me draw a little one over here. I'll ruin the point of my pencil. This would be a cylinder that's straight lines. Okay, you don't want that when you draw the figure. You want curvy lines, very curvy cylindrical lines. So the first thing that we're going to do here, let me slide this over, make sure we're in the video. First thing that we're going to try to do is a line of action. So line of action. So what did I say earlier? So now I'm going to have to draw a little bit smaller because I started that line. I didn't look at my paper before I started. I could lift this up, but that would kind of mess everything up. So line of action. Torso peanut shape. Hip. Good. It's a little too small. I would have liked to have gone bigger. Let's just stick with it. Okay, this is way too small. So this is about, gosh. We're going to start over. Okay, let me move this piece of paper. Good. Let me get my little blue tape. Just bear with me for a moment with the setup here. I'm not using a drawing pad. I took the pieces of paper out of the drawing pad because the drawing pad is just too bulky. Like, if you guys know, you've worked with newsprint paper before, when you use the whole pad, it's just like so bulky. So I like to take, like, when I do these live streams and draw on Zoom, I like to take like 5 pieces of paper out of the pad, and it's so much more manageable unless you screw up and you don't draw the right size. So now, what did we say earlier? So first line, I like to start at the shoulder, underarm area, side of the rib cage. So I put my pencil down here on the paper. Do I have enough room for the head? Yes, I do. There's plenty of room there for the head. So now my drawing is going to be bigger. So I'm going to lean back so my hair is not in the camera screen. And I'm going to just do a line of action. So that's going to be my line of action. That's a great place to start when you do this gesture style stuff. Let's torso it out. Torso peanut. Okay, and let's just work on the torso for a moment here. So, and we're going to give this person a little bit of a top. So the bottom of the top is going to be the cylinder. Hip. Okay, now the bottoms. So right away, what we're dealing with here is cylindrical. So I like to call these mummification lines, where you wrap around the torso and you pretend as if you're turning your figure into a mummy. Okay, I wonder if newsprint paper is just cheap drawing paper. It's, if you go to any art supply store, it just says newsprint paper on the outside of the pad. And it's very cheap paper. And the drawing, I don't think, no, my easel's not in the view behind me. It turns yellow. This, if I leave this paper out for just 1 week in the sun, it will completely start to turn yellow. So it's not archival. It's really cheap paper. So we have our torso peanut shape. Okay. And now our hip butt. And let's just do this opposite C for that upper leg, opposite C for that lower leg, into the model's foot. Plant the foot on the ground. Now, let's do this. Slow down. Let's see if I can slow down and actually do a pretty line. Okay. Shop paper. Yeah, that's a great way to say it. Slow down. So that's a modified continuous line opposite C. Welcome, Julio. And then we have our lower leg and the foot. That's a little too long, but let's keep going. So now let's do our heads, because I have room for the head. So let's throw the head in. So this is the exercise. We're going to mummify everything. But before we do, let's get the upper arm. And we could just, let's be easy today. Let's drop that arm down into the shoulder. So let's start from the top. So in class, what we would do now is we would mummify this figure, meaning the whole thing would be these cylindrical lines. But let's do that at the end. So we're going to come on in. My dog is snoring, and hopefully you can't hear Truffle snoring. So a little bit of a convex into the pelvis. We have the hip butt. So we build up the dark lines after. Now we have this model's bottom. So at the School of Visual Arts, we can't draw from nude photos. The model has to be clothed. So I've been using the bottoms and the top to just find that cylinder, wrap around the cylinder of the upper leg, find the cylinder over here. Okay, so immediately what we have is a 3-dimensional torso peanut shape. And we didn't even really add tons of form lines in. So we can come over here a little bit of the center line of the navel and wrap down. So that line's going to be very round. Our rib cage, if we're going to throw in a little bit of a rib cage, that line's going to wrap in. Okay, this could come out a wee bit more. It's a little too skinny. Okay, so now let's come on down. So we've got this leg. Continuous line, wrap in, indicate the kneecap. Okay, don't outline both sides. That's been the key theme this week, outline in both sides. Don't do that for these style drawings. stay loose, and it's the opposite C, rhythm. I can't believe that first drawing I did today was horrendous. Okay, so now everything's a cylinder. So this foot's a cylinder. Okay, this leg is a cylinder. Do the mummification lines, wrap around, wrap around, wrap around, wrap around. It's just an exercise. It's going to ruin the drawing, but it's an exercise drawing. Who cares, right? Let's see here. Let me look at what's the difference of this perspective of 2-point perspective. What's the difference of this perspective of 2-point perspective? So, gosh, I'm having a hard time answering that question. So with this, I'm not even thinking about perspective. I could draw on top of this, and we're looking at this model, and it's a 3/4 view. And sure, I could do perspective with the boxes and all that, but I don't want to go there with this live stream. So with perspective, with this, quite frankly, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm thinking more about form. I'm thinking more about anatomy, and I'm thinking more about gesture. Okay? Hold on a second. Hold on. Truffs. Hey. She's sideways and snoring. We had company last night, so she's out. Okay, so now let's. So you see the mummification lines. So now we can come down over here, upper leg, and into that knee. So mummify with cylindrical lines to show that this leg is a cylinder. That knee wraps around. That's a cylinder. So I'm going to bring this leg in a little bit. It's a little too extreme. So opposite C into the heel, and then the arch of the foot, and then the ball of the foot. Okay, that's better. That's a little less long. Now, this figure is all about cylinders. So the arch of the foot over here is very cylindrical. This big toe, very cylindrical. Sometimes that's all you need to do for the foot is on a gesture style drawing like this, is just indicate cylinders, and you're done. Don't outline everything. So now we can come back, and let's just play a little bit. So we have clavicle into this model's deltoid. I'm being a little stylized. That's a little too big. Let me resharpen the pencil. Okay. Yeah, that's a huge deltoid. But again, for some reason, I'm doing shrugged shoulders this morning. So opposite C, letter C, opposite C, letter C. Let's do the thumb. Opposite C. Okay. Thank you, aesthetic, Pammy. Now, we just do mummification lines. So turn it into a mummy. Wrap around, cylinder. Okay? Cylinder. Mummification. Looks silly, but again, what we're doing here this morning in the live stream is just practicing, and just let her sleep. Yeah. Just practice. It's just an exercise. This is classic in the classroom style exercises. Yeah, I mean, most lines technically that I draw are anatomy. So Daniel, wow, Daniel, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. So Daniel Castelli writes, Matt, I've been, Daniel donated $5. Thank you so much, Daniel. Wow, that was cool. I've been a member of DTO for over 10 years, one of the best investments I've ever made. I hope to see you do some painting lessons again. The last painting lesson that I filmed, it's Miriam, the Miriam painting, and it's on the website. Did you watch that one, Daniel? It's a portrait painting, and I tried to treat that painting as how I would do that in a life situation. I didn't draw it with a pencil first. I drew it with the paintbrush. Thank you so much, Daniel. I really do appreciate you. And 10 years, wow. The average life of a member is 3 months. That's a statistic from people who run websites like mine. So 10 years is pretty incredible. If you ever want a free coaching session, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to give you one. Marco, hi from Brazil, Marco. All right, so where are we? So this model's head. Let's see. Model's head. So let's come on down, and Let me take the edge off this pencil. Sometimes the pencils are too sharp. So let's just do a breast, a loose interpretation of a breast, and opposite C, back of the head. Now just lean back so we don't make that head too big. And let's go cylindrical. So we're looking up at this head. So it's going to be cylindrical lines this way. Okay. So doesn't it look like a mummy? This is how you learn how to loosen up. Now let's give this model a ponytail. It's going to borderline make her head look too big. But let's make the ponytail a cylinder. So everything on this pose is a cylinder. So that's done. It's really done, okay? Maybe I'll do one more for you guys. I'm going to try the plus size model again, okay? Now that I'm a little warmed up. I'll probably crash and burn, and it's probably a really bad idea that I do that. But so here's the thing. Before I do that, let's do some little practice things. Okay. So Daniel writes, wow, no, I missed that lesson. I'll have to get on that, and I most certainly take you up on that generous coaching offer. Okay, cool. So the days that I have available for that is Wednesday and Tuesday. So you could just email me when's a good day for you, and not this upcoming week, but the following week, okay? Because this upcoming week is coaching like crazy, okay? Too busy this week. All right, so just email me, okay, Daniel? It would be really fun. All you have to do is send me like 10 pieces of artwork, 5 pieces of artwork. I can critique them, and then we can either A, have a Zoom call or have a one-to-one call. So cylinders, like we did on the previous sheet of paper, would be you want to think curvy, okay? Curvy, not straight, no straight lines. And then there's also a cylinder that could be like an elbow piece of pasta, just like that. Curve around, put the cylindrical lines around. So this could be a finger, it could be a foreshortened anything, okay? It could be an earthworm, but you have to think about cylinders in a very organic sort of way, okay? And then, yeah, the other one was the oval, like what we talked about. So I'm trying to think of how long are we into this live stream? We're not into it long at all. So let me just read a couple of comments here. I live on Eastern Long Island in New York. It's a beautiful day out here. The Eastern Long Island is so busy right now because everyone goes out. I'm about 25 minutes away from all the wineries on the North Fork of Long Island, and everyone goes out pumpkin picking, and it's so busy this time of the year, and it's crazy. So Dana, how are you? Do you coach for car design? No, I don't. But right now I'm not offering any coaching because I'm teaching at the college and it's taken up a lot of my time. I'm just I have some remaining coaching students left. But I do group coaching on the website. But yeah, I love cars. I'm a car fanatic. Classic cars, muscle cars, supercars, all that stuff. So Dana, Matt, I'm listening while I'm driving. I'm working today. I hope you have a great Black Friday sale. Okay, I didn't even think about that. I haven't run a sale in so long. I haven't been in the marketing mind frame that much anymore. Nick, I don't know what UOI. Ram, get out. Okay. Eastern Long Island. Car design. Okay, car design is hard. I've drawn cars and I love cars. They're hard. Do you do perspective drawings? Absolutely. There's a live stream on perspective. It's not my best perspective. You know, it's just weird. Sometimes you're on and sometimes you're off. Do you? Yeah, I do perspective drawings. I love it. So let's. I don't want to ruin this drawing because this is about cylinders, but I'll draw right next to it. P.S. Anime. Let me move this mic Okay, thank you, PS Anime. Indonesia, welcome. So let's say I was going to draw this model in perspective. So we also did boxes yesterday. I'm just so ashamed of that first drawing that I did this morning. It's just a horror show. I hate when that happens. So it would be rib cage. Okay, I'm letting my ego get the best of me here this morning. So that would be her rib cage, kind of, and then her hips. So how do you do perspective? Well, first you draw the torso peanut shape. Let me practice what I preach. First you draw the torso, and then you fit the box into the torso, because the body is not synthetic. Synthetic meaning straight lines. Yeah, thank you, Aurora. It's nice to go back and forth to portraits, to gesture, to long duration figure, to short duration figure, to perspective, to landscape. And I'm forced to do that as a teacher because I got to teach all this stuff, and I like it all. And sometimes I could overdo, like doing too many portraits for too long. Sometimes I do too much with the figure. YouTube hates anything nudity. They just took down a bunch of my thumbnails. So I don't really like to do too much with photos. I try to do these drawings out of my imagination with nudity. Yeah, I have a hard time drawing animals too. Just take this and turn it horizontal, and there's your animal torso. So getting back to this, so this would be the model's center line. That would be the navel. That would be the center line going into the pelvis. And if we just give this box a little bit of tone, it gives it a little bit more sense. So now in terms of, to answer the perspective question, I don't want to turn this into a perspective demonstration of the model, but now let's just do the head. So first we do the head, and then we find the box. So where would the front, this is a little bit more 3/4, Matt, come on. And then the side of the head. Okay, so we're going to have a whole bunch of, can I get this on the paper? Can I get this on the video? No, I cannot. Okay, I'm going to screw, I can't untape this because I'm going to screw it all up. But basically, it's hitting my microphone stand, not going to happen. This goes back, that goes back, that goes back. That's going to a 1 point. And then this goes to another point over here. So if I'm drawing this model, basically my eye level of this model is right about her navel. Okay, so that's a very quick synopsis of perspective with the figure. It's not this thing where you're drawing a box. It's just there's multiple boxes twisting in multiple different directions, and yeah, so it's messy. The reason why I like Strathmore newsprint paper is because I like the physical pad that it comes in. Sometimes, students will buy a newsprint paper pad. The worst pads are the biggie Canson pads. The students buy them, they turn the pad to flip the page, and the whole thing falls apart. So the reason why I like Strathmore is because, this is going to sound so strange and weird, but the glue that glues the paper together actually works. In other brand pads, the pads fall apart. So newsprint is newsprint is newsprint. It's the pad quality that's the reason why I stick with Strathmore. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's really about breaking down. Let me do one more drawing for you guys here today. I'm looking at, boy, these chats are coming in fast and hard. What do you think is the hardest thing to draw? So I'm going to answer that question in a way that you probably wouldn't think I would answer it. I don't have an issue right now because I've been doing this my whole life and I'm an old man. So I feel like my goal has always been to be able to draw anything. So here's my answer to your question. I find it that I have a hard time drawing when I don't feel good. That's my answer. And lately, I haven't been feeling good a lot because I have some health issues with my neck. So when I have that, I can't focus. Like I get like a little dizzy, So that's that's like my new challenge now in life. Tingling in my hands, dizziness in my brain, all from like a neck injury. So that's the hardest thing to draw when you're not feeling good. That's my answer to your question. And the other thing that is the hardest thing to draw is when you don't practice all the time. So when you don't practice all the time, that's when things are hard. Okay, that's when things are really hard. And so I've been drawing each week now consistently with doing this style of drawing. Now, I'm just sharpening my pencil. Just bear with me. Do I wish I was in the classroom drawing from a live model? You better believe it. Okay. But I'm not. I'm drawing from photos primarily. Today, I'm drawing out of my imagination. I'm trying to remember the photos that I drew this week. Now, I'm going to just, for my own ego, I should just draw a different pose and I should throw my ego out. Yep, let's do it. Let's do a different pose. So I screwed up with the plus size model guy. All right, it is what it is. Let's do one more. Okay, and I have a hard time drawing clothing. Yeah, so the thing with art skills, so here's the thing. It's when you're an artist with skills and drawing the body, drawing the figure, drawing a portrait, painting with watercolors, painting with oils, you have to please show one illustrations with the head up turn pose, please. Here's the thing. I'll try. Here's the thing. So what I do is I do a lot of portraits. I do a lot of figure, and those are pretty much my go-tos. And I if I do too much figure, then I don't focus enough on portraits, and then my portraits get a little weak and I forget. So it's always about rotating. So you spend 2 weeks maybe on a portrait, and then you stick in 1 or 2 days of figure drawing. And then there's two different styles of figure drawing. There's the style that we're doing here today, which is gestural, and then there's long. So here's another little drawing that I do, that I've done this week. So with this one, so this is just a 2-hour study, tops 2.5 hours. And so what I like to do is just once a week, I'm going to rip the newsprint. Once a week, I like to do one of these drawings just for 2 hours. And what do I accomplish? What's my practice with this? So my practice is to stay with my rendering, my modeling chops. Like I like to keep those fresh. And if I don't do one of these style drawings, at least 2 hours, one a week, I kind of lose my touch with rendering. And I lose my touch a little bit with model and form with the pencil. Okay. So I like to do this once a week for about 2 to 3 hours. Do this once a week for 2 to 3 hours, and just practice and focus. This is a great way to slow your brain down and focus. But if I just do this and I just look at a photo and I draw from a photo, then what happens? I get stiff. So then I need to practice doing the gesture. So you have to think when you're an artist, you're constantly in rotation, and you're always rotating. So then after I did the figure maybe for 2 weeks, then I would do a portrait. Okay. Now the other thing that also, let me take the tape off of this, that you can really lose touch with is hands and feet. And I gotta admit, like I've lost touch a little bit with hands and feet. Okay, so let's grab a new pencil, and I'm trying to think of a different pose. Let's just start. Now let's do another line of action. Okay, so start about here. And I'm just going to cling on to the torso peanut shape. So we're going to do a very... How do I want this? How do I want this pose? I'm just going to wing this. Let's see if I can't crash and burn. So torso. It's a little too tall already. I'm just going to keep going. Rib cage. Very messy already, so I'm being sloppy. So I do not like this line of action, so we're going to change that. So I'm going to do this, and my line of action is going to be here. Okay, I want this leg to come this way. So I'm doing a little of anatomy right here, that pelvis. That's going to give me a landmark. So I'm being very sketchy, very loose. Opposite C for the quad muscle. So we're going to do a quick little box for the front of that knee. Okay, and then we're going to do opposite C for the back of that leg. Now, there's two different ways that you can go about doing this. You can go about doing this where you look at a photo and you memorize the photo and then you draw. And the other way that you can do this is that you just start to draw, and whatever comes out of it, comes out of it. Or you can visualize in your brain what you want the pose to be. I like to look at a photo and memorize it and then do the drawing. This one, just kind of trying to remember a little bit, but I'm kind of winging it. So we're going to plant that foot on the ground. So now I'm going to come on in here and not be so primitive with the line. Maybe do a little pelvis. This leg is a background leg, and we don't want to go too dark with it right now, and we want to connect the feet. Sometimes when you connect the feet like that with a gesture line, it's helpful. Okay, so now we have room for the head. I'm just going to do a quick opposite C for the head. So that's our gesture. Now, what I like to teach in class is I start with the torso and then the upper leg. Because why? Because those are the two biggest masses on the body. The head is not as big as the torso. So years ago, I used to start with the head. I don't start with the head anymore. Okay? Welcome, Robinson. So Robinson, you're seeing me crash and burn here today, especially the first drawing. So if you replay the live video and you watch that first drawing, you're going to be like, this guy can't draw to save his life. So now let's slow down here. So let's get shoulders. Let's get indication of breast. We don't have to go crazy with that. YouTube hates breasts. YouTube hates everything nudity, and I get it. So that is way too big of a torso up top. So we're going to make this a little bit bigger. Gravity is going to pull this down. Okay, so you can go over and progressively get darker. Let's go a little bit skinnier with the torso. And so this head, we're going to do something like that. So that torso up top is way too big. So you should be able to notice that right away, that my torso shape too big. Rib cage, I'm being very sloppy with this. Top of the pelvis, we're trying to skinny up. So rib, rib, rib. Form line, that is. Okay, let's come on down. Let's turn this into a cylinder. And arch of the foot, cylinder. Heel is a box. And so that's a quick little gesture right there that I don't like either. Okay, now this leg we can just do with some light tone. Doesn't need to be an outline. Sometimes you just want to do a little bit of tone like that. And gesture. So if that torso is too big, this pencil doesn't erase. So you got to live with it. Okay, we can lower that foot, and that would help. Okay, so if we ruin this and we mummify it, cylinder, 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 cylinder line, cylinder, 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 mummify it, wrap around, be very loose. Just an exercise, nothing more, nothing less. Just an exercise to get you to stay loose and to draw. Here's what some students will do. Oh, my hand's going to get really dark. I'm going to slide this over. So students will draw the torso, and they'll go like this, and they do it like this with chicken scratch. So chicken scratch just means that you keep lifting your pencil off of the page. And then they'll do the mummification lines, and it looks like this. They're too straight, and they go across, and they try to do the cylinder, but it doesn't really look like a cylinder. Some of the lines are straight, and you don't want to draw your cylinders this way. This would be the cylinder that looks like that. That's a flat cylinder. You have to do it like this. You have to do very, very curvy cylindrical lines. This is loose and this is tight. Okay? So practice that. Okay? So this is a technique called mummification, where you pretend that you're drawing a mummy and you're wrapping linen around the body. Okay? And it's just simply put an exercise to help you to loosen up. Nothing more and nothing less. Draw a bird. Okay, I'll draw a bird for you. Here's a bird. A bird, believe it or not, could be a torso peanut shape. This is a hunchback bird. That's a cylinder into a box with that back wing. There's my bird with the cylinders. Freaking, what is he drawing? What the fuck? That's me. Listen to your chat. What's this? I see. This is boring. Okay. Love it. Yeah, the tingling is related to an injury. I do have, so yeah, I take breaks. I take way too many breaks. Way too many breaks. Yeah, I don't want to bore you with my health issues, but it sucks. Yeah, try this, you guys. It's really, really fun. So let's do a quick little recap. Just want to go back with the chat and make sure that I didn't any tips on arms. So let me get a sharper pencil. That pencil is almost sharp. Let me sharpen it. Bear with me, guys. This has been a heck of a live stream here today. So arms are opposite C's. So deltoid, bicep, forearm into the wrist. So this would be my deltoid. Your deltoid is like an ice cream cone. Looks something like that. If we mummify it, looks like that. And then your bicep into your underarm. So then your bicep turns under. Those would be some form lines. And then your elbow right over here. But this is going to be your medial epicondyle of your humerus. And then we're going to wrap around for that forearm. Okay, and your wrist is a little bit more of a box. So in essence here, a very quick tutorial on the arm. It's opposite C, opposite. I know the chat's coming in long and hard. I can't look at the chat and do this at the same time. Just bear with me. Be patient. And then this and this. So that's going to be your box at the wrist. Okay. The other thing with an arm, if I can draw an arm a different way. So it's same thing. So deltoid is kind of an upside down ice cream cone, kind of. Bicep, opposite C. Forearm into the elbow, and now this forearm is an S curve into the wrist. Forearm into the wrist, that is a box. So you have to be very loose with the arm, and it's muscle groups in essence here. Okay, so tricep, bicep, and it's just very gestural, and convex line rolls in. Bicep rolls in. Okay, hope that helped. This is where your collarbone, acromion of the scapula would kind of go. So that would be your collarbone right over there. Let me just glance at the chat. Yeah, that sounds like a really cool book. Thank you so much, Aesthetic Pammy. Thank you, some professional. You know, it's crazy. I've been on YouTube since like 2006, 2007, and for a couple years, more than that, I kind of didn't add too much stuff on YouTube. But it's just amazing. I've been on YouTube for like 12 years, I think, and people are just finding me now. It's such a crazy world. Yeah, it looks like the Michelin Man. That's what I say, the Michelin Man. So, Julio, we're on the same page. Yeah, so let me just do a quick little head that's looking up. Let me get this piece of paper. Okay, so this is the drawing that I did before the live stream. That one I really like. That plus size model. This one, oh my God. Just grabbing these from the floor. Gosh. This is what happens when you think too much and you try to be perfect. You screw up. But I'm gonna do the head up drawing. Just be patient with me. I promise you I'm gonna do a head looking up. But before I do that, I want to salvage this disgusting thing. Okay, just bear with me. We are into this live stream. How long? What time is it? Yeah, okay, we're into this 55 minutes. Let me just tape this to my board. So let's talk about form lines, because I got to salvage this drawing. It's really gross. So sometimes your form lines could go this way. Vertical. You don't always want to go horizontal with your practice lines. Okay, so let's come on down, and I'm going to build up the dark line. I'm going to be a monster with this. Build up the dark line, build up. This is a convex line that comes in. So this is horizontal, 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 horizontal. Okay, now vertical. My paper's moving. I just missed that line. I'm seeing the chat come in. Hang in there with me. So this could be a vertical form line, vertical form line, vertical form line. What are we doing here today on YouTube? Well, we're having fun, but we're also just practicing loose form lines. That could be a line that goes that way because your arm is horizontal, so your form lines go horizontal, and then you can layer a couple of form lines like that on top of that. And I'm going to show you with my other drawings here in a moment, after I do the head looking up, the form lines, okay? And then this guy, form line, turn that head into a cylinder. So that's what we call an exercise drawing. Let me just look at the chat here. Let me just scroll up. And mummification. Aurora, Matt, the mummification is to see the oval rounding of the body. We do this technique to loosen up. Because what happens, look at my shoulders. My shoulders are really shrugged. I'm doing the live stream. I want to be perfect. I want to draw it, and I'm drawing these like real stiff lines, and it's really stiff, and I'm drawing with straight lines. So you just drop your shoulders, you relax, you start to move your arm. Look at my arm moving. I'm just not drawing the oval with my fingers and my hand. I'm doing it with my arm. So the point of this is to loosen up. It's an exercise that we do in class. These are like 2-minute drawings tops, maybe 3. And 3-minute gesture drawings. That's what this is called, using the mummification, because this forces students to start to think about the inside of the body. Because what a lot of people will do is they'll just do an outline of the body, and the outline is flat. Okay, why is it flat? Why is it flat? Why is the drawing flat? Because you're not, Aurora, wrapping lines in and around the form. So this just makes you more conscious of it. This is not about doing a pretty drawing. This is an exercise, okay? Now, let me do the head looking up very, very quickly here. Do I have room on this sheet of paper? Let me sharpen my pencil, and bear with me. I'm going to get a new sheet of paper because that drawing is a mess. The first thing I'm going to do when the live stream is over is burn this page, okay? Let me slide this over, actually. Bear with me, everybody. Okay, good. We have, and then there was paper. Tape that, tape that. Head looking up. Okay, so I like to draw, let me move over. Oval. Back of the cranium, oval. around the eyebrow area to the top of the ear. This is the jawbone. Actually, let's see here. So chin, we're looking up. So jawbone, jawbone. I would have liked to have gone lighter there. Chin looking up, eyebrow, top of the ear, bottom of the ear, center line. Okay, so that's a quick head looking up. So you never want to draw a head without a neck and shoulders. Okay, so shoulders, Adam's apple, pit of the neck, sternomastoid. Let's get this other shoulder. Okay, this is, I'm going to be loose with this. Eye socket, bottom of the nose, the lips wrap around. Okay, this again, back of the skull. Let's reinforce that. And now let's just do a little bit of surface planes. That would be forehead, cheekbone, temple, cheekbone. I'm lifting my pencil off the page. And when I lift my pencil off the page, I draw stiff and like a buffoon. So I should be going slower. Check this out. So I should be going slower, but this has to do with my stupid neck issue that is probably going to change the way that I draw. So now that jaw needs to go like that. Chin like that. So we're dealing with a little bit of structure. And my structure right there is terrible. So eye socket, eyebrow, and that side, top of the head. Let's shade. Let's continue shading. So you never want to do a dark line like that on the jawbone. So that's me screwing up. Okay, but that's how I would approach somebody looking up. Somebody looking down is the same thing. Oval tilted down, cranium back of the skull like that. Forehead, cheekbone. This is easier looking down, obviously, for me at least. Jawbone, eyebrows, top of the ear, bottom of the ear, center line. Let me resharpen this pencil because this is a small drawing and I don't want too much of a dull pencil. Bear with me. Okay, my paper's getting all screwy. 1 second here. All right, so we're just about done with this live stream. And I want to thank you all for joining. Okay, eye socket, looking down, temple, cheekbone, bottom of the nose, a little bit of a suggestion of an eye. Temple, once again, let's go back to the temple. Let's go back to the cheekbone. Let's get a little bit of a flat chin. Let's close that eye just a little bit more. Ear is a frisbee, a disc. Back of the skull. Okay, that eyebrow should come down. The other eyebrow, the nose, can raise that nose a little bit. And then let's give this person a little frown, like they're pissed off. So that's looking down, and the difference between looking up and looking down is eyebrows are above the ear, and that line goes like that. Looking down, eyebrows below the top of the ear, and that line goes like that. That's the trick to doing head drawing, looking up, looking down. So listen, everyone, I want to thank you so much for joining me. Let me just glance at some of the chats before we close out. Do you ever wonder what your past students are doing nowadays? Yeah, I do. And a lot of them have become very successful, not because of me. I'm just like a little tiny part of their life. But a lot of them have gone on. You know, sometimes I see people like 10, 15 years later, and they just pop up on whatever, Facebook for whatever reason. I don't go on Facebook that much anymore. But yeah, I see them and I'm like, whoa, that's what they're doing. And it's kind of cool to see that. Some people keep in touch. Some people are members of my website. Some people are friends with me on Facebook. Again, I don't really go on Facebook too much because it's a little bit of a sewer, but that's a story for another day. And that's just me being negative. How to improve lines for doing sketches. So this is what you need to practice when you want to learn how to improve your lines. So you need to draw a circle or an oval, press down hard, press down light. Ah, pencil broke. Seriously, press down hard, press down light. Try to stay on the same line. I've gone off the track. light, heavy pressure, light pressure, heavy pressure. Okay, practice light pressure. This is the key. You don't always want to draw like a monster with like dark, dark lines, but you don't want to draw too light all the time either. You need to do both. I am my own worst critic. I'm very cynical today, in case you haven't noticed. Uh, thank you, Annie. Truffles. Let's get truffs. Okay, let me get truffs. Hold on a second. Come on, truffs. Okay, first thing we need to do is put the tongue back in the mouth. Come on, Truffs, where's your tongue? Okay, put that back in there. We don't want to scare anybody. Thank you, Eric. Truffs, let's just draw some line. Okay, let's grab your pencil here, and let's finish off the live stream with practicing your line quality, Truffs. Come on, lift up your face so everyone can see you. There you go. Let's get some line quality in there. There you go. So your line's very choppy, Truffles, and I think you got to practice a little bit more. You're sleeping too much. And let's do like a little torso over here, Truffs. Let's see how you do. Let's do a little doggy torso. Actually, let's do French bulldog eyes. Yeah, we got our French bulldog eyes. French bulldog eyes. Let's get the Dorito for the ear. Let's get the forehead. And let's get the other Dorito for the ear. Let's get the mouth. How you doing, Truffs? You all right? Let's get the mouth. Let's get the tongue sticking out. And whiskers. Good. And chin. A little snoring always helps. Absolutely. Let's get the nose. How's that, Truffs? You like that drawing? You think you're okay with that here today? Okay, so let me just finish reading some of these. Let's see. So Robinson, unfortunately, all classes are Zoom right now. Truffs, why don't you go lay down? I know you're not into this. The closest you can get to, I don't like promoting on the live streams. I like to keep it organic, but just check out some of the links underneath the video. You can check out my website, and I don't do anything live within the website area. This is my live class. The other live classes that I teach are at the School of Visual Arts, and that's via Zoom. I wish I can share those videos with everybody because they're all recorded, but I can't because they're technically the school owns those videos. Anime character. I tend to be a little bit more realistic with the way that I draw. So how do you can not, boy, this, if somebody walked in and they saw this page, they'd be like, that's your teacher? Oh my God, these drawings look horrendous. The way that you practice getting a light touch is doing this. Do a grayscale. Every day in your sketchbook, do a grayscale. Dark middle tone, light middle tone, light touch to white. Okay? And then you do it with line. Dark, thick, heavy line, middle tone line, light Shirley Temple line, very light line. And you can do it vertical and horizontal. Okay, so dark line, middle tone line, live there for a minute, middle tone, light, live there for a minute. That's how you practice your touch. I guess so, Julio. I mean, I have the Loomis books and I've looked up them, and I love Loomis stuff, but when I draw, so I'm sure they've influenced me a little bit. I've never really copied a Loomis drawing. Who I like more than anybody is Bridgman. I've had Bridgman books since I've been 18 years old, and I have a lot of Bridgman influence with the head. Riley, not so much. I mean, I use Frank Riley's painting method with his tinted grays and his neutral grays when I paint, but I don't know if we're talking about the same Riley. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Thank you, Ileana. This was just more of a fun day, having some fun. Thank you, Jeter. Thank you, Dawn. Appreciate all of you guys joining me here today. Definitely give the video a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. If you're not subscribed, I would love it if you could subscribe so you can make fun of me when I do bad drawings. Thank you, Joseph. Nali Aranda, thank you. What's the first move? That's a good one. I don't know. Thank you so much, Rainer. Dennis, thank you. Paul, appreciate you joining the live stream. Idiot, love it. Thank you, Shiley J74. Mary Green, thank you so much for the lesson. Chuck Cromwell, thanks. Appreciate that Let's Play. Some days I'm good, some days I'm terrible. Taya Chandler, thank you so much. Benedict, I'll try my best, absolutely. I have some videos already on YouTube about they're better drawings than what I've done here today. So you can check those out. Thank you, Robinson. Marco, thank you. Molly Art, thank you. Jill, appreciate you joining us here today. Ollie Bun Bun, love that name. Oh my God. It's been watching since I was 10. A lot of students joined my class and they've been watching since then. So thank you. Aurora, thank you for joining. Sandy, been with you since your first year. Thank you. Wow, that was a long time ago. You're the best, Sandy. Thank you, Dawn. Helen, see you soon. Shyla74, idiot, thank you so much. Thank you. Let's play. All right, guys. Nancy. Okay, I'm way behind with the chat. Oh, my God. Mary, thank you. All right, to everyone I didn't say thank you to, thank you. I'll see you guys next week. I'll try to do another live stream next week. If you have any requests, send me an email. See you later.